So taking a look back at my week one picks, week one was kind of what I thought it was going to be. A somewhat difficult week to pick, where if I finished above 500 for the week, I'd be pretty happy actually, because you're basing off the preseason, the offseason hype, and this and that, and a lot of guessing, let's face it. So last week, I ended up going 10-6. Now, one caveat. Even though I had picked Seattle over Miami, I did not include it in the description video of the week one picks video, nor did I mention it, nor did I tweet about it. However, with that said, I hope you believe me to be a man of somewhat decent integrity, because the same could have technically been said about the opening game of the season, the Broncos and the Panthers. I did not announce any formal official pick via YouTube video, via Twitter, but I came on here and was honest and said I picked the Panthers to win and they didn't win. So I hope you can believe in the integrity of me when I say I would have picked Seattle to beat Miami, because I did. Let's go there. So I'm going to call it 10-6. If you don't like it, eat shit. Well, anyways, week two, I'm already off to a flying start. I don't know why the hell I would pick the Bills over the Jets on Thursday night, but I guess it was two mediocre football teams battling it out. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose, and the Bills lost because Rex Ryan's a loser. So already in the hole, 0-1 this week. Let's see if I can recover. Let's talk about the picks for week two. Starting with the noon. I'm acting like I still live in the Central Time Zone. I'm an East Coast boy now. The 1 o'clock games on Sunday. I'll take the Ravens over the Browns, although that could be potentially a sneaky good game. That could be a little bit of a higher scoring affair than you might believe. The Ravens didn't do much offensively in week one. They'll do better, you would think, in theory, against a woeful Browns defense in week two. And now that the Browns have their better quarterback, Josh McCown, starting instead of RG they could do better offensively, like actually get Gary Barnidge involved in the passing game. But I will still take the Ravens on the road. I'll take the Lions over the Titans. I will take the Patriots over the Dolphins, even though I will confess the past 2 years the Dolphins have beaten the Patriots once. Granted, that was in Miami. Since this game is in New England, I will stick with the Patriots. The Patriots have to be really happy with the prospect of potentially starting out 2-0 under their backup quarterback. You would think they have to. Probably the most exciting and compelling of the early slate of games has to be the Saints traveling to the new Meadowlands to take on the Giants, and whatever the fuck the stadium's called, MetLife now. Who gives a fuck? I call it the new Meadowlands. This game should, in theory, be a lot of fun. If you remember last year's matchup, you had Drew Brees go off like crazy. Eli Manning also went off like crazy. These are two teams that are terrible in the secondary, terrible as pass defending units. You would expect Drew Brees and Eli Manning to put up some big numbers here. This should be a shootout in every sense of the word. I will take the Giants to beat the Saints this time. I think the Saints got knocked down a little bit with the way they lost in week one, whereas the Giants maybe got to pick up a little bit from the way they beat Dallas in week number one. Another competitive, close matchup are two teams that really don't like each other, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game's at Heinz Field. I will take the Steelers here, even though there's an instinct in me that says maybe you should take the Bengals because they're going to be seeking some sort of revenge. I'm gonna take the Steelers. They look much more impressive in week number one. They really did. I'll take the Cowboys to beat the Redskins on the road. I was impressed with Dak Prescott's ability to take care of the ball and have his team in a position to win late if it wasn't for Terrence Williams' stupidity. I didn't like what I saw out of Washington week one. Cousins was bad. Their running game was non-existent. They struggled to stop the run. I would expect Ezekiel Elliott to have a better game week two than he did in week one, so I'll take the Cowboys. I'll take the Panthers to beat the 49ers, and I will take the Houstons to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. In the afternoon games, I'll take Seattle to beat the Rams in Los Angeles. Even though the Rams looked very terrible on Monday night, this is true. It's not like the Seahawks looked like world beaters Sunday against Miami. Furthermore, the past few years, the Rams have really had the Seahawks number. So I picked the Seahawks, saying at some point in time they've got to be able to figure out a way to beat these guys, and they need to beat these guys to send a message, to send a statement. But I do not completely discount the Rams, even if they are not that good of a football team, because they really match up well against these guys. And if they can ugly the game up and then get after Russell Wilson, who's going to be hobbled with the ankle, this game could be very, very close. I'll take the Cardinals to rebound in week two and beat the Buccaneers. The Colts and the Broncos. A lot of the temptation based off the way the Colts looked week one and how they lost week one and how the Broncos won week one at home is going to be to take the Broncos here. The simple fact of the matter is in recent years, the Colts have had the Broncos number, and in particular, Andrew Luck has had their number. And at this point in time, I really don't see any reason to go against that. Yes, the Colts defense in particular, with their banged up secondary, looked atrocious against Detroit in week one. And the Broncos look solid as a cohesive team with Simeon as the starting quarterback and that defense and C.J. Anderson in the running game in week number one. So, like the past couple of years, there's really no logic to why you would pick the Colts here. And that's exactly why I'm picking the Colts here. I will take the Raiders to beat the Falcons in a game that I hope is really good, and that could be another high-scoring matchup. I'll take the Jaguars to rebound from that tough home loss in week one to Green Bay to beat the Chargers on the road in week two. That loss week one to the Chiefs in that choke job fashion in overtime could really linger with this Chargers organization. The Sunday night game, I will take the Packers to beat the Minnesota Vikings. Apparently, Sam Bradford is probably going to start. I don't think that really makes much of a difference. Are you going to pick Sam Bradford? Are you going to pick Aaron Rodgers? I will take Aaron Rodgers. Monday night, I'm really, really excited. And it doesn't really have much to do with the fact that the Bears are hosting a Monday night game. I want to see Carson Wentz on the big stage. I want to see Carson Wentz in prime time. I want to see if his performance last week against the Browns was just kind of one of those one-off things in his rookie year, a week one game where teams didn't really know what to prepare for. Furthermore, he was going against a bad Browns defense, or can he show himself to be a bit legit and get the Eagles out to a 2-0 start? I will say it's a homer pick. I will take the Bears here on Monday night. Usually when I pick them, that's when they lose. But I will pick the Bears here. You're welcome, as always, to pick against me. Keep track of your totals. Keep track of my totals. Like I said, I was 10-6 in week one. Hopefully I do a little better in week two, even though I'm not off to a flying start. Thanks, Rex Ryan. Dick.